this side to balance the offensive set as Casey surely is going to throw it. Pressure's coming, throws underneath, looking to set up the screen, and nothing doing with that. Larry Johnson is just clobbered. He caught the ball all right, but he never had a chance. Never had a ghost of a chance as Deshaun Hill 5 and Moreno number 9 took him down. Full tide. They've sold 22,000 tickets, I'm told. BYU for some question. To give you some idea how long Joe Paterno has been at Penn State as the football coach. How many U.S. presidents have held office since Joe took over as Penn State? Getting a little sprinkling of rain. Scattered showers was in the forecast today. That'll help cool things off. Let's hope it's not heavy stuff. The ball is away and is thrown low, and it is caught by Sam Crenshaw, who came back to it. The senior from Youngstown, Ohio, gets a first down for Penn State on a pet interception. Again, McCullough the deep back. This time he gets the ball, and this time the Lions are looking for him. So twice in a row, the Penn State USC has run right into the Penn State defense's jaw. The Aflac trivia question was, how many U.S. presidents have held office since Joe Paterno took over as Penn State head coach? The answer? 7.
That's since he was head coach, but as you mentioned, and you caught on to it, since he arrived at Penn State, 10 presidents.
Wow. 50 years as a coach, 35 years as head coach. It is third down 11 as USC has been lackluster in this possession. In good field position, they go deep to the end zone, and it is incomplete. Bruce Branch defending against Marcel Almond, and only Branch had a chance to catch the ball.
Good coverage there.
Rolls it out. Wants to come to the sidelines for Kelly, but he's out of bounds. He was well out of bounds when he caught the ball.
And that was great coverage by Jude. For long. That should never be a bad exchange.
Opening game.
And like Joe was telling us, a lot of youth.
Make it third down and 7 now from the 35. Casey down the middle. Intercepted. It's picked off by Polamalu. And Troy Polamalu is in the end zone. Touchdown. That's 9 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons by the USC defense. This is a very important possession for Penn State. Eric McCoo running with authority, comes thundering up the field, and he bangs into Troy Polamalu, and that's a pretty good collision.
He's back there, and if it means running out of the pocket, he's got to do that.
McCoo goes up into a slot, leaving Larry Johnson tailback, and Casey gives it to him. He's the bigger back of the bunch, and he breaks it over the left side and picks up a first down. Pin the Trojans back and give their offense field position. Palmer hands the ball to Papadakis. And Petros is out maybe to the 4.
In the second half, as they did in the first.
Papadakis again, and Penn State's looking for that.
But he just hadn't been successful doing that. Let's see if he does here.
He's got 4 wideouts on the field to choose from, and it's handed off to the running back, and McCullough never had a chance. I mean, they just ate him alive. And Penn State didn't believe for a second that he was going to throw that football, and now the punter is going
to try to get it off in a step and a half at the most.
Kenny Watson is waiting for Penn State. Safety. Nittany Lions block it. Larry Johnson got it. In on special team, number 5. And now the Trojans give up 2 points to make it a 23-5 ball game, and they'll come out to the 20-yard line and punt it away.
He takes an angle in front of the punter, 1.5 steps. The snap is low. It gives him time. Watch this. Now lay out. There's the block. A huge play by Penn State. Not only do they get the 2 points, now they get the ball back, and they're going to get it in great field position. But it was the low snap. Then he had to set himself for the 1.5 steps, and by that time, it was too late. Great play by Larry Johnson, number 5, who's got that speed coming off the edge. All he needed was that little advantage of the low snap, and he got there.
28-yard line. Ball goes to Perry. And Perry running laterally has the speed to get around the corner. So Perry's speed took him around the corner, and Chad Pearson saved the touchdown.
That shows you what I know. I'm telling him run it up the middle.
The 44-yard line for Penn State. Trojan defense has been on the field virtually the whole quarter. Casey, throw it deep. Too long. Pass intended.
Leading by 7, looking to add to that advantage. Have first and goal from the 5. Lorenzo Diamond is the tight end on the near side. A quick count. Rudy Johnson up the middle. Nothing there. Wyoming defense answered the call that time.
It was 101 degrees at 5:30.
Caught a break, but it's still sticky, Doc. Great point.
Did he say 40% humidity? I'm moving to Wyoming.
Rudy Johnson, touchdown, Auburn. On 3rd and 6. Good work for the first down. That's the guy Herbie was talking about earlier. Malcolm Floyd, redshirt freshman.
Big 6.
Big target.
This is a hokey.
So I'm putting you down on the record. Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech.
Okay.
3rd and 3. First down and more. Marcel Willis to the 39-yard line. 3rd and 10. Wyoming drops a half dozen in coverage. Laird underneath, and that was almost intercepted by Jockeys are on campus as they've gone to semesters here at Auburn. In the flat, getting away is Darth Tuszynski for a first down. Good, tough run by Darth Tuszynski to the 37.
For the Cowboys.
The Horseshoe, the Plains, Neyland Stadium, they've seen them all. It's a pretty good road tour if you've been around for 4 years at Wyoming. And a first down run for Al Rich. Hutchinson, junior, Englewood, Colorado. First down, 5 in the pattern. Over the middle, it's caught by Matt Swanson. Quite a first half for the junior from Boise, Idaho. He's thrown.
Maybe they've met socially a few times, you know, at some conferences or something, but as coaches, they've never gone against each other.
The 97 preseason all Pac-10 pick. Ron, redshirt freshman out of Phoenix this time a year ago, running the Arizona State scout team, getting them ready to play the likes of a San Diego State. A former walk-on, just placed on scholarship. They say they really admit to overlooking him in the recruiting process. He's better than they thought. He goes right to Richard Williams on first down and a gain of 2 or 3 yards to the 25. Defense was about 40% last year converting third downs. Sean McDonald in motion. And Cron, with a lot of time, needing 6, overshoots McDonald off his fingertips for the job of protecting senior quarterback Jack Hawley. Out of El Segundo, California, the tight end in motion, Bray McNeil, will be one of his favorite targets this year. 2 tight end look on first down, and Hawley ready to hang the first pass of the season up deep. And he overthrows J.R. Tolver. Defensive Rel Suggs gained 2,200 yards as a high school senior to lead the state of Arizona. They got him at rush end tonight in his collegiate debut. Play action on 2nd and 10. Hawley again looking deep for Tolver, and again overthrows him.
$3.5 million for the new library on campus is something that Joe Paterno is very, very proud of. He spoke about it at length with us yesterday, Don. He said, you know, rather than you know, donate to a stadium or an athletic building, he was an English lit major. And he said that's where he met his wife, in the library.
That's right. He's a graduate of Brown that has one of the greatest libraries in the world. And he said you can't be a big-time university unless you have a big-time library.
Toledo ball, their own 29. Chester Taylor. He's out to the 36-yard line.
Going to throw for the first time. He throws complete to Washington. He's knocked out of bounds by Brian King, short of the first down. In talking to the bench, but that's something they believe in strongly, and they will stick with no matter what. On 3rd down and 2. Lots of shifting on the offensive line. 2 receivers out to the right of Brian St. Pierre. Straight drop. Now feels the pressure and can't get away from it. He's dropped to the 17-yard line by William Perry.
Casey got his man, and this one is caught. John Gilmore, the tie.
Then there's Nebraska against San Jose State. Eric Crouch, who had already run for one touchdown, now throws a touchdown pass. 27 yards to Tracy Wistrom. 14-0, the Big Red Threat.
Makes sense right now with just a few seconds left on the clock, but I expect them to come out in the second half and really run a hurry-up offense.
Gesser trying to scramble, and Jason is pulled down at the 20-yard line. Coy Wire, the new linebacker, converted from running back, knocks him down, and that is the first half. A good one for Stanford, a very poor one for the Cougars. Stanford, who went to the Rose Bowl trying to get back. There is pressure on Stanford to get back to the bowl. They must beat Washington State, and they knew it. UCLA in '97 opened with a loss at Washington State, and it cost them the Rose Bowl. But here's the big play of the first half. It was a 3-0 score. They dumped it off on a full blitz, and Kerry Carter went 84 yards.
How do you beat the blitz right there? Throw a screen to Kerry Carter. He took it 8.
Lost early, and that started a huge slide. 3rd down and 4 for Utah. Arsenault completes the pass down to the 34-yard line. And a first down in the play. Complete to number 27, Josh Lyman.
Trophy. That was before they ran into a determined group of UCLA Bruins in the Rose Bowl. Last week, USC knocked off Penn State. Today, UCLA carried the banner for the Pac-10 as the conference continued its search for respectability. The Bruins facing 3rd-ranked Alabama at the Rose Bowl. Their starting quarterback, Corey Puz, went down on the opening drive, but they have options, Kellen.
A little trickery here. Freddie Mitchell on the reverse. He's going to find Ryan Holly-Dixon in the end zone for the touchdown. Freddie, more to celebrate.
Yeah, in 3rd quarter, Ryan McCann in relief, and yes, he can.
It was an outing up by Freddie Mitchell. He got the defensive back to bite on the play. Easy touchdown.
Deshaun Foster gained just 345 yards last season. He finished with 187 today, and his 42 carries ties a UCLA school record. Number 14, Washington, facing Idaho. Marcus Tuiasosopo, a weapon already.
Yeah, here he gets a 21-yard touchdown run. He had 80 yards on 15 attempts. This guy can beat you on the ground or in the air. And I really think if Washington is successful this year, he'll get some Heisman consideration.
They were successful today, 44-20, the final score. More Pac-10 action. Arizona and Utah. 3rd quarter, Kellen, 3-0 Utah. The Desert Swarm alive and kicking.
They're back. They look a lot like the team in 1998. They won 11-1. The Desert Swarm defense is coming back, people.
But don't count up the offense. 3rd quarter, still 7-3 Arizona. Larry Crooms
breaks it to the outside. This is great speed. They missed a lot in the draft last year. They had a lot of people leave. Trump candidate. They need to get the running game going once again.
For 132 yards. It's on Halftime Report.
The most astounding stat thus far is
the upset in this game and hoping to get a little measure of respect for Conference USA along the way against the SEC. This is Joey Matthews, the new quarterback. That is not pretty but effective to Cedric Wilson, and Tennessee had a 7-3 lead over the Golden Eagles. You see this replay. Matthews got unhinged. Cedric Wilson saves it. 10-3 Tennessee in the 3rd quarter, and Jeff Kelly back to pass, and Will Overstreet hammers him. Tennessee 12-3. Jeff Bauer, quarterback, was sacked 9 times. A.J. Suggs now in there for the Vols. And really, quarterbacks don't have to make plays. Just get it to guys like Dante Stallworth.
Yeah, and he just made a play. Really, a lot of quarterback trouble for Tennessee, but if you get it to the right guy, you make things happen.
Let's see. Tennessee had 3 quarterbacks today. That means they don't have one.
That was Jeff Kelly to Bobby Garner there as Southern finally got the offense clicking. And Kelly, 2-point conversion, and no good. Kept it out of there, so 19-9. Tennessee still holding on to the lead. Bauer wanted that. Thought his receiver was in the end zone. A little over a minute to go. Southern finally getting things clicking. Kelly looking in there to Sean Mills, and Southern now has it down to 19-16, and Bauer trying to steal one in Neyland Stadium, going for the onside kick. Got the hands team in. It's loose.
They had a shot at it, but they couldn't come up with it, Reese. They had a real good shot at it.
It's all you can ask for, really. Get the ball to bounce high. Phil Fulmer, I think I saw a sigh of relief a day after Phil's 50th birthday, 19-16. In Penn State, first game of the day on ESPN2. This is Chester Taylor. Of all returning backs in America, he's averaged more yards per carry in his career than any of them. Matt Seneca in there for Rashard Casey, who got pulled, and then Seneca gets sacked. Defensive coordinator Tom Amstutz, 18 yards per game rushing, under 1 yard per carry. Guy, first quarter, Navarre, yeah, it's always a good plan to find David Terrell.
Yeah, pretty good chance he'll catch the ball, do something big with it, as he did there.
Made it 7-0, same score when Navarre decides to spread it around. Ronald Bellamy, 19 yards. It's 14-0 Michigan. Oh, Ricky the Peach Leach would be proud of this performance. Navarre, again to Bellamy. He was 15 of 19, 265, and tied the school record with 4 touchdowns in his first game. It's 21-0. But you might as well hop aboard and take a ride on the A-Train, too.
Yeah, A-Train gets outside big time. They proved they could throw the ball. A-Train had to get his stats in the fourth quarter to pad it a little bit there.
108 yards rushing for Anthony Thomas. Chris Perry also went over 100, up 6-0. David Shabaglia catches the pass, but he doesn't keep control of it, and David Mitchell will take that the other way. This would be a theme. This is the second Ohio State touchdown. Both of them came from the defense. Second quarter, Fresno with the ball. Oh, up and over. Yamo B there. Nate Clements with the big hit. A little slow. That's why you play DB.
I never could hit that way.
Third quarter, Fresno State's ball. Ohio State leads 20-0. And John, there's Mr. Mitchell again. He was open.
Pretty good day, wasn't it? Ohio State had 4 defensive touchdowns.
Breeze. Donald Winston down to the 1 yard line. Breeze, 25 of 42, 318, 3 touches. That'll help you. Steve Ennis. Plow in there, and Purdue rolls 48-0. It's the first shutout for Purdue since a 35-0 win over Northwestern back in 1981. It did take a goal line stand to get it done today. We're on a theme here. Heisman Trophy candidate quarterbacks, and that includes Eric Crouch. Number 1 Nebraska against San Jose State. Here is Crouch working on the keeper. Nebraska up 7-0, and then Crouch using that tight end in the play. Might counter. It's not a rivalry until somebody gets tear gassed, as that happened last year. They were trying to cut down on the beverage consumption to take that aspect out of it, and did a good job of it for the most part. There were a few arrests, but nothing major. This is Bobby Pesavento to Javon Green for a touchdown, 19 yards. Pesavento in there because Zach Colvin got knocked out, and then Pesavento working again. And Colorado had a 24-14 lead after being down 14-0. Colorado State now, senior quarterback Matt Newton to Frank Rice.
This is like 2 different games for Matt Newton. He started hot as a pistol, making big plays. First quarter, he was terrific. For the second and third quarter, he was out of sync. Nothing happened, and then all of a sudden, he caught fire again. He made the difference down the stretch for him. That's what a senior quarterback does for a team like Colorado.
38-16, the final here. Cliff Kingsbury, a school record, 450 yards. Leach went going, looking for Kirk Wells. Florida breaking in some new receivers. That's a nicely thrown ball.
Does that make Spur happy with Jesse?
I don't know. Jesse did some things, and some things didn't go so well. Robert Gillespie going in for the touchdown there. The Mighty Gators up 19-7. Here's Palmer again to Alex Willis, one of the guys at receiver has played a little bit for the Gators. Jesse, 21 of 46, but he did throw for 377 yards and 3 touchdowns in Florida, 40-19. The fans booed a little bit in this game. They won season schedule. This is the pocket rocket. Little reverse. Aaron Lockett is loose. He's going to pick up 54, but he's not going to score. They would score on the next play by Jonathan Beasley, a 1 yard quarterback sneak. Here's JB now, looking for his bigger receiver, Quincy Morgan, who was wide open, John.
Yeah, Jonathan Beasley didn't play very well last week, but he came out today and really showed what he can do with this offense. Of course, when you have a defense like Kansas State and you have special teams like they do, and you have people like Lockett and David Allen, remember, is not even playing. He's injured, so they just let someone else return kicks for him.
If that would have been it, that could have been the record. He could have passed Johnny Rogers with this one. Instead, it's Lockett taking it back on the punt. He probably saw Tennessee survive. What about Ole Miss and Deuce McAllister against Tulane? And the intra-state battle of Kentucky. Oh, the big fella, Jared Lorenzen, leading the Cats against Louisville. With a couple of impressive intersectional, this thing was absolutely crazy. Look at the great play by the umpire, stripping Louisville's Dave Wood going to the ball, and Kentucky would come up with it. Here's the big fella, 275, Jared Lorenzen throwing to Quentin McCord, 67 yards, and the Cats are on top, 34-27. Less than a minute left to go. We're tied at 34, and the snap gets loose. Ragone can't handle it. Marlon McCree picks it up, and he's going for the Kentucky lead, but he's hauled down just short of the goal line. 3 kicks to go. This to win it. And Sanders blocked by Kerry Burns, and we head to overtime. Louisville's first play of overtime. This is Tony Stallings. Oh, nobody's home, and turn out the lights and deliver the Papa John's. Louisville wins it 40-34. So, Conference USA take on Oklahoma. Oklahoma up 17-7. UTEP has the ball. This is Rocky Perez at quarterback, and he now plays for the University of Texas of El intercepted pass. So Roy Williams going the other way, 35 yards, and OU is up 24-7. Oklahoma's laying it on, 41-14 at this point. Ronaldo works the handoff from Josh Heupel. Oh, look at that leg drive, coach.
Oh, good. I tell you what, this Oklahoma team is still rolling up with that offense. Josh Heupel had a record-setting year last year. He's on the mark again early this year.
Played a classic a year ago, and they might have one-upped it in this one. 35-28. Brett Ingeman, hello, margin hooks. Extra point tied the score at 35 with under a minute to go in regulation. Virginia has the ball. David Green, remember, he shared time with Todd Braverman, and it's all his, and he can't hit the 48-yarder. We'll play a little free football. In overtime, same score. Owen Ponchman, toe meets leather, high enough, long enough, and just barely straight enough. They don't ask you how you won, they ask you if you won. BYU does win 38-35.
And how they won was important. They were down by 21 points at the half. Came back with Ingeman having a huge third quarter, which got BYU back into the ball game.
Look at those numbers for Ingeman. 34-41, 447 yards to Lavelle Edwards. 1-1 in the ACC after the Florida State loss, I guess. East Carolina's been even better than that against ACC competition. 38-0. They shut out Duke. Victor. Arkansas State and North Carolina 17. They trailed for much of this game. 6 Air Force blowing out Cal State Northridge 55-6. Thiessen with the big night.
It's ranked opponent games.
Marcus Williams out of bounds right at the 35-yard line, so the drive continues. Inside 10 minutes to go in the ball game, and Washington State down by 17. Stands on 4th and 1. Gesser sneaks, and I guess Gesser got it. Well, that's just a guess.
It's a good guess. Yes, sir.
Stanford scored all 24 points in the second quarter. Randy Fasani got it going with an 84-yard screen pass to Kerry Carter, his running back. And then he went twice to his other running back, Casey Moore, on a screen pass and a run up the middle.
Now remember, Washington State a couple of years ago, they set a record for a fourth quarter comeback. Just happened to be against Stanford. It was 1984, but they scored 28 in the fourth quarter. Don't count them out.
Gesser scrambling. Gesser may have scooted for the first down.
Nice move by Gesser right when he was going out of bounds. He played the little Toro.
Virginia opens up a can on Boston College 34.
Your thirst for action and excitement covered with a college football Saturday double header on Fox Sports Net. First, as the leaves begin to fall at West Point, QB Tim Hasselbeck leads his Boston College Eagles into unfriendly territory against the Black Knights of Army. Then, it's on to Cincy as Big East powerhouse Syracuse takes on the Cincy Bearcats. Later, we'll take a trip to the Lone Star State as the Wyoming Cowboys try to lasso the Aggies from their 20th consecutive home victory. Then, in the nightcap, 18th-ranked Ohio State gets a taste of the new Desert Swarm. Arizona's Take No Prisoners defense. But first, this is not your father's Army. The Black Knights offense is sporting a new look, and the Eagles will get a bird's-eye view. But who's going to stop that running, gunning QB with a Boston accent? BC at West Point. Throw away the remote, baby. It's the beginning of a full day of football. Next on Fox Sports Net.
Michie Stadium, voted by Sports Illustrated as one of the nation's top venues and tops among college football stadiums, and today it will play host to Army and Boston College. Welcome to our College Football Saturday studio in Los Angeles. Alongside Kellen Winslow and Artie Gigantino, I'm Kevin Frazier. Great game ahead. Boston College and Army both in search of their first win today, and perhaps the key for the Eagles taking care of the ball, Kellen.
They did a poor job last week of taking care of the football against West Virginia. They fell behind 17-0. Then in the fourth quarter, they threw 2 picks for touchdowns on the interception return. Tim Hasselbeck, the senior captain quarterback for Boston College, has to do a better job of handling the football. You saw the fumble there on the option play, and then, of course, he got pressure from West Virginia and put him on the ground again. If they do a better job of taking care of the football, Artie, I think with their large BC offensive line, they've got a great chance against Army today.
Yeah, you know, when you look at Army, they've got the challenge in the fact that they're fast and they're small, like you said, and BC is basically big and slow. But the keys for Army today is the fact that they've got 4 days only to prepare for this game, so they've had a short week. How quickly can they adjust to this Boston College style? They've got to stop the Boston College power ground game. They bring the fullback up inside and pull the guard. And lastly, guys, and certainly not least, is how is Army adjusting to their new style of getting rid of the wishbone, throwing 30 or 40 passes a game, and also blitzing all the time from a 4-4 defense as opposed to a standard 5-2, which they played the last couple of years. It's really an interesting contrast in terms of what they used to do.
And a new day for the Black Knights. We'll be back at the half with scores and highlights from across the nation on the Nissan Halftime Report. But right now, it's off to the banks of the Hudson River in Michie Stadium, where Barry Tompkins and Mike Mayock are standing by to call this afternoon's game. And both these teams, Barry, in search of that first win.
Yeah, that's true, Kevin. And last week, of course, Boston College was searching in all the wrong places. I think you can make a case for the fact, Mike, there are good wins and there are good losses and there are bad losses. And in last week's case, I think Army had a pretty good loss. Reason for optimism, Boston College, train wreck.
Hey, let me tell you something. For BC, let's just say they didn't meet their expectation levels. For Army, well, yeah, they played well, but as far as Todd Berry's concerned, no loss is a good loss. He expects to win every football game.
And you and I talked with Coach Tom O'Brien in the middle of the week, and to say that he was upset, probably to make a pretty good understatement.
Hey, Tom called it the worst offensive performance he's ever seen. Now, it all starts up front. Their offensive lineman, Paul Zukauskis, he's a 4-year starter. He's a team captain. He's the guy that's got to energize this offense. Barry, I'm going to tell you something right now. If this offensive line doesn't play better, BC doesn't win football games.
All right, now there's strange things happening here at West Point. There's a concept, I think New Rockney thought of this idea about 75 years ago. It's come to West Point. They're throwing a football, Mike.
No way. Chad Jenkins threw the football 29 times last week. That's a season for most Army quarterbacks. But the key for Jenkins, he's got to get the football to his talented wide receiver, Amari Thompson. He needs more touches. 5'7", 162, great burst. For Army to win the football game, he's the only guy with enough athletic ability to make the big play.
Yeah, and he touched the ball 6 or 7 times, I think, last week against Cincinnati in a not bad loss, as we said, on the road. They want him to get 10 touches today. They'll get the ball into his hands early. They want to throw underneath early. We'll come back. Kickoff coming up.
Foot Locker, the big sale, take 1. And action.
Sale.
Every night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Totally Philly, totally sports.
We welcome you back to West Point. Perfect weather conditions, 77 degrees, not a trace of wind. Boston College 0-1 and Army 0-1. Michie Stadium is the site. Michie Stadium, I beg your pardon, is the site over the Hudson River. Absolutely beautiful site. Todd Berry, first time that he has fielded a team here at West Point. They opened the course on the road Monday night, so they've had a short week. See his overall record. Did a great job at Illinois State. Tom O'Brien, a guy who also came up through the Naval Academy. Now it's interesting. He went to school at Navy and he coached at Navy, and this is the first time he's ever been to West Point.
Played there, coached there, has had a great career, but Army Navy's always at a neutral site, so he's never been here.
Boston College won the toss. They've deferred. Army will get the ball first. Sandro Shortino will kick it off, a redshirt freshman. Omari Thompson, the deep man for the Black Knights. Thompson is the big play guy, clearly, as Mike Mayock pointed out.
Yeah, he's 5'6", 172 pounds, but let me tell you something, great burst. He's the guy that can make some plays.
And we have a momentary delay here. Not quite sure what this delay is all about. So Shortino to kick it off for the Eagles. And we are underway. Drives this one pretty good, and there'll be no return. So Army will get the ball first as you take a look at Chad Jenkins. He won a spirited duel for the #1 quarterback job with Joe Jurina. Jenkins 14 of 29, 123 yards. They threw underneath a lot against Cincinnati, but they did throw effectively for Army. Offensive line is led by Paul Henderson. Henderson clearly the best athlete on this line, and he's a guy the BC coaches say they must account for. Michael Wallace will be the running back. Bowdish is the possession receiver, and as we said, Omari Thompson is the guy they want to get the ball into his hands early. We expect Army to try to throw underneath a little bit early. First snap for the Black Knights. Short drop, Jenkins throws. Here's Thompson. Got a little bit of room to the 23-yard line. Boston College defensively, and this is a banged-up unit and a lot of inexperience here. Doug Goodwin is a freshman, although the BC coaches say he may be the best freshman to ever suit up at the down line position for Boston College. They like him a lot, but it's a learning process. Bradley Birch and Bolden, the 3 Bs, are the linebackers for BC. And in the secondary, some experience. Jonathan Ordway, Ramon Johnson, Parent, and Poole. 2nd down and 7 for the Army. This is McCallum. McCallum is a load at about 243. Came into the season actually at 258. They want him to play a little bit lighter, Mike.
Yeah, and he needs to. He's not quite as quick at 258. Regardless, he's a big, strong guy. And kind of interesting, they come out in 4 wide, but this is still Army. They'll still run the football. Let's talk about the game plan for Army. They've got to throw the football on time. That means 3-step, 5-step, get rid of it. Number 3, you know who that is, Omari Thompson, minimum of 10 touches, and their 8-man front defensively has got to stop BC's run.
Wallace in the ball game now at the running back position. Here's the option, pitch to Wallace. And nothing doing. Wallace gets across the 25, but Army will have to give it up. Ralph Parent defensively for BC on the play.
Yeah, keep in mind, Army will still run option. I'd be surprised if you don't see a minimum of 12 to 15 options today. It's a great way to keep a blitzing defense honest. And if you look at the play selection, yeah, they threw the ball on 1st down, but then they go run, punt.
Dedrick DeWalt will be the deep man for Boston College to receive this punt. Dan McElroy, the punter for Army. And BC likes to come after these. They show a 9-man front.
They blocked 2 punts last year.
Here they come, right up the middle. Almost got it, but they ran into the kicker. That's going to give Army a 1st down. That'll either be roughing or running into the kicker, and I'm quite sure it'll be roughing. Ralph Parent came right up the middle and just knocked McElroy head over heels.
It's interesting, the 2 safeties, Parent and Bissett, have a little game going every week. They have a contest who can get to the kicker first, and I think that time Parent a little bit over-aggressive.
Yeah, good news and bad news. He won, but he lost.
Won the bet, but just lost 15 yards in the 1st down. First big break. Now take a look at this. Right-footed kicker, you've got to get to the mesh point, and that's clearly running into his right knee. Good acting job. What a surprise by those punters who all should be thespians. Right up the middle, that's good job. Parent did everything right except his launch point was incorrect. He runs into the punt.
Well, a break for Army early in this ball game, and I think it's important for Army to keep this crowd in the ball game.
And they also have to get their players to buy into this new system, and you need success to do that. 4 wide receivers, folks.
Wallace, the lone setback. Straight back goes Jenkins. Throws, and a little miscommunication there that time. The ball was intended for Brewington, and Brewington, I don't think, ever quite got the message.
Now, he broke the route off. Willie Poole, defensive back, had the coverage. But that's what we're talking about when we say throw the ball on time. 3-step or 5-step. That was 5. He's a big disciple of Steve Logan at East Carolina. West Coast offense, get rid of the football.
And it's largely a read offense. Quarterback and the receiver have to be on the same page. They were not in that situation. Exactly. 2nd and 10. Wallace this time on the dive to the 45. Got about 5 yards.
Todd Berry can talk all he wants about this pass attack, but they will still be somewhat balanced.
Jenkins' numbers this year.
Actually,
last
year. He threw 23 times all season. Last week, he dropped 29 on him against Cincinnati.
Jenkins was the backup to Joe Girina, who this year is his backup. Single setback this time. They bring Thompson in motion on third down. Jenkins straight back, throws this time out of the backfield. And the catch is made by Todd. College football on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Isn't it time for a real car? We welcome you back. You're looking at Trophy Point, just a truly beautiful sight. It's right where the Hudson River bends, and very historic, of course.
Very historic, and if you have a girl you'd like to propose to, that pretty much guarantees success.
That's the place. You didn't do that, though, did you?
No. I'm allergic to that place.
Take a look at BC as they line up offensively for the first time. Tim Hasselbeck will be the quarterback. He had a game he'd like to apologize for a week ago. 14-29, only 119 yards. Here is the strength of Boston College. The offensive line led, of course, by Zukauskas. Backs and receivers, and they got some good ones. This is Washington on the first call, and he gets a couple. Army is right there in that 4-4 defense. Very confusing defense. Let's take a look at Army's defense. Lyle Weaver made the stop the first time. They run a 4-4, 4 down linemen and essentially 4 linebackers. Hurst, Mitchell, Holmes, and Purdue along the down line. They are undersized, but they are active. The linebackers, probably the strength of Army's defense. Lyle Weaver, legitimate All-American candidate. And the secondary, they're undersized, but again, very aggressive. Second down. Hasselbeck throws a swing. That's Washington on the receiving end, and Washington will be stopped about 4 yards short of the first down.
That's very typical of the BC pass offense. They get in their ace formations, 2 tight ends, 2 wides, 1 back, and they're going to flood one or the other sides. That time they run the linebackers off and try and give Washington, the tailback, a one-on-one shot in the open field.
And they want to try to get outside as much as they can, try to open up Army, because Army tries to filter everything defensively toward the middle.
They'll spread them out a little bit. It's an 8-man front, reminiscent of Virginia Tech.
There's a give on third down, and Washington will have the first down and more to about the 33-yard line. Cedric Washington is a guy who began his career at BC as a defensive back. He has come on now to be one of the top rushers in the Big East, and a guy with all-conference hopes. Last week he was held to virtually nothing by West Virginia, but look at last year, 1,122 yards and 7 touchdowns. First down at the 33. Washington, a lone setback. He gets the call, tries to bounce it outside and does. 35 to the 40-yard line. A gain of 7. McNally drags him down.
One of the things that Army's defense has to do is they've got to make tackles. Watch what happens. Derek Goodwin will flash right there. You got to make the tackle. 37 misses the tackle. That opens it up. These running backs from BC are too talented. You can't let them get into the secondary. Good tackle by McNally, the free safety ultimately.
3 carries, 16 yards for Washington early in this ball game. That's exactly what BC wanted. Here's Washington again to the inside this time. First down and more across the 45 to the 47. Clarence Holmes on the stop for Army. But right now, BC playing smash-mouth football.
And exactly what they want to do. It's kind of an interesting setup, Barry, because Army, by definition, is an 8-man front, which is saying we've got 8, you've only got 7. You can't run the football on us. BC is so upset about last week. That's Paul Zukauskas right there, their captain, that they have challenged their offensive line to dominate, even though they're outnumbered. And let's not forget they've got a 45-pound weight advantage.
Play fake this time. Hasselbeck will throw. Rolling right. Looking, got a world of time now to run. And steps out of bounds the 49-yard line. A gain of about 2.5 yards. Derek Goodwin forced him out. Good coverage that time by Army. As you saw. He's a guy who can make a play, and that's why he won the quarterback job over Girina. Out of the shotgun this time. Quick toss. Ball is caught by Calvin Smith, and Smith will be close to another first down. Calvin Smith, a running back last year, moved to a wideout position this year.
Big cushion on the corner Army went 3 wide receivers to the front side and by definition ended up with a one-on-one in the backside. Calvin Smith, who's one of their quickest players, that was like stealing, folks. Pick up 9 yards because the cushion was so large on the backside.
I talked to Todd Berry yesterday whether or not he scripts plays like a lot of coaches do. Here they stack the wideouts to the left side and a pitch this time. And that's going to be a touchdown as they give the ball to Josh Holden, the 4th string running back. And he takes it in, and Army just doing everything right on that drive.
You know, Army didn't even block this well, but watch the left guard come down. He's going to make a block all the way up in the corner that ultimately makes the play. BC just doesn't tackle. Gonzalez pulls out. There's the pitch. Bolden gets the edge. Good job on the wide receiver there. Look at Gonzalez. He's going to collapse the defensive back and lets Holden just walk into the end zone.
And Jared Churchill gave him a pretty good block. Mullen to try the point. It is good, and that's impressive. Very impressive drive for the Black Knights. 6:33 remaining first quarter, and Army has gone in front of BC 7-0.
And Bowling Green's offense right now, so young, so inexperienced up front, they cannot make these type of mistakes. They can't recover from 1st and 15 all afternoon.
That's right. Furman, the senior, but then he goes sophomore, 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 junior. Bautista in motion. 1st and 15. They'll try to run right side, and that's not happening. Oh, what a play. Number 51, the bullet was Gerald Hayes. Did he fill that hole or what? He delivered a blow and stopped the play cold. Maybe a gain of a yard, maybe.
Talking to Walt Harris yesterday, the strength of this defensive squad is the linebacking core. This guy, Gerald Hayes, shot out of a rocket. And this is what you want to do, young people. When you're tackling somebody, drive them back to their side of the football. Perfect form tackle. Did you see how he kept his pad position inside?
That was outstanding. That was right out of the...
You know what? Edit this tape and put it on a clinic. That's how you tackle.
Well, Walt Harris calls him a star. No question about that. Tell you what, just massive confusion here in this start. Very shaky. Sam barely got back to the line of scrimmage. He called a TO. Andy checked that Gary Blackney really needs this ball game. Played on the road last week. This is the home opener. Then they're on the road for the next 4 weeks. And he's had 5 straight losing seasons after coming out of the gates in great shape back in 91-92. Wins the MAC conference. They go 36-8-2. But since then, 22-33.
You see his record. He told us yesterday he went from being a hot coach to being on the hot seat.
Yes. That's what some of the preseason publications says. Well, I don't read all of them, but my kids told me about it.
His kids told him, and you know what? The only time we've ever been to the school that has not only a male mascot, but the female mascot. I like that.
So, yeah, I think you're right. Of all the places we've been, yeah.
You're talking about an offense that could sincerely use a first down and some type of momentum. Oh, you're looking at them.
This is at Bowling Green's deepest penetration, around 25, right? That's not a good stat. They're not going to want to hang their hat on that.
They're going to wear the grass out on this one end of the field.
People at the other end of the stands are going to get ticked off. 2nd down, 16, offset eye. Sam to throw, outside, drop. Just like last week, a lot of drops. This one went to number 85. He could not hold on to it. Number 85 is Joe Fisher, one of their backup wide receivers. Keep in mind, Kurt Gerling, they lost him last week, out with a broken right collarbone. He's going to sit for 4 weeks. He's an outstanding receiver, made 6 catches a week ago. Bowling Green now 0 for 2 on 3rd down. Do it out of the shotgun. Decent pressure. Sam's going to run. Throws on the run. That's going to be picked. It is right there. And Pittsburgh takes over. Can't make an easier pick than that one for Shante Spencer, the freshman out of Woodland Hills High School in Pittsburgh.
Got it. Throws toward the nearest sideline and trying to reach out and get it is Muckerson, but it's incomplete. Sure, freshman came up with a big catch near the end of the first half.
You're always thinking that Muckerson's going to do something to electrify the crowd.
Offset eye on 2nd and 10. Shot option, toss, Sharps with room. Sharps at midfield. Breaks low. 45-40, showing speed as he's finally wrestled down at the 37-38 yard line of the Maryland Terrapins. First down. That's the kind of run we saw last week down the road in Annapolis.
You took the words right out of my...
Roll out. Wide open. Jason McKee. And Jason McKee is dragged down from behind, but he's got another Temple first down at the 26-yard line. Making the play. Scott looks left, throws left long for Muckerson. Batted incomplete in the end zone. Good coverage, double coverage on number 11. Like Poklemba had plenty of foot on that 42-yarder that he made earlier out of Mac DeVito's hole. You know, last week they tried a fake field goal. DeVito, a backup quarterback, can throw the ball or run it. I'm sure Maryland saw the game films there.
43 yards
from the left hash. It's got plenty of toe, but it's going to be wide left. Wide left on the Maryland sideline. Here we go. Scott with time. Out of the backfield, McKee's open in the flat. McKee at the 40 and runs out of bounds at the 34-yard line. A touchdown. So this field goal is just a little bit of icing, not a lot. The kick is up, and this one is perfect. With plenty of room, he nearly kicked it to his locker space in that football complex. Hopka celebrating. The field goal is good, and with 2:21, we're coming back. 2:21 remaining. And the Terps lead is up to 7-4, and they're in a similar situation here in the final 2:21s.
But no way he's going to do it straight drop back.
Well, he's got a 5-yard advantage or so with the shotgun, but so far that hasn't helped on the first 2 plays of this series. Here we go. Scott throws. There's his man. Diller, and he held on. Whoa, first down at the 32-yard line, and he took a hit. Surely, it's only 10. Over the middle. Oh, we may have a penalty.
That's a flag. Yes, sir, from the far side.
Devin Scott. Over the middle. There's Muckerson. He's got it, but he's wrapped up at the 48-yard line. Scott. No spike. Scott throws. Let's see if he can count on. Sharps does. Doesn't get the first, but he did stop it.
But they have got to make the first down.
That's right, or else it's all for naught. Here we go. Scott. The receiver's open in the flat. He throws it incompletion in the middle. We had Jason McKee wide open in the flat. Bobby Wallace.
Coaches, they want a flag in the worst kind of way.
Screaming for interference, and he's not going to get it. The intended receiver was Greg Muckerson. To the Maryland Terrapins, who
53-11. It isn't exactly the kind of football Joe Paterno's used to. In fact, Joe Pa has only been 0-2 3 times in his 35 seasons. Today, Louisiana Tech came into Happy Valley, and this one kind of had the look of the first 2 games earlier. Rashard Casey here. He starts to scramble and coughs it up. La Tech recovers, and the Bulldogs are in business just 3 plays into the game. Uh-oh. And then 3 plays after that, Brian Stallworth out of the gun hits Sean Cangelosi. 10-yard touchdown, and just like that, 7-0 Louisiana Tech, and you got to believe some people were holding their breath, but the Lions find some life on the ensuing kickoff. Larry Johnson looks like he's pinned in, but look at the burst of the speed, and out to the left he goes, 65 yards on the return. The Bulldogs are in business at La Tech's 35-yard line, and they capitalize this time. Casey, quick pass to Eric McCoo, 5 yards. Joe Pa's squad ties the game at 7. Tech giving one away late in the first. John Simon here. Can't hang on to it. Coughs it up. James Boyd right into his lap, and he goes in. 14-7 Penn State. It's their first lead of the season. And Tech continued to have trouble with turnovers. Stallworth this time throwing complete to Cangelosi, but then he's stripped of the football. Boyd is Johnny on the spot again as he recovers. Penn State with a chance to add to that lead. They do it 2 plays later. McCoo, look at the field, or the downfield blocking nicely done. He's in there. Lions offense scores 2 touchdowns in a minute 8. They couldn't do that in the previous 2 games combined. 21-7 Lions. And James Bicknell can use his Antac. It only gets worse for his club, though. Lining up the punt, Omar Easy comes through, blocks it. Terrence Glover recovers, and the Lions once again deep in Bulldog territory, and they make the most of it. Casey rolling left this time. We'll go to the end zone for Tony Stewart. He's got it. They missed the conversion, but led 27-7 after one to the second quarter. More Nittany Lions. Casey downfield for Tony Johnson. He breaks a tackle and he's gone. We don't need to show you any more of this. Penn State takes Tech behind the woodshed to the tune of 67-7 to get their first win of 2000. Eric McCoo led the
broken collarbone, 8 yards here to Matt Nichols. 7-0 was the lead at that point, and Trojan Horse ready to celebrate here, but not so soon. Zach Colvin throws it 11 yards to Javon Green, juggles it, but hauls it in for the touchdown. That made it 7-7, but at the start of the second half, Sultan McCullough takes it in from 5 yards. You can do it through the air and on the ground as well. This one from 13 yards, and this is just a gutsy run. He's hit a couple of times, and then at the goal line just stretches over and gets it 3. 18 of 31, 223 yards through the air. For Wooded, Derek Watson, 21 yards in this touchdown. 21-10 was the lead for South Carolina as they win it going away. For Quincy Carter, the Heisman hopeful, just a horrendous day.
Heisman hopes are gone. Jim Donnan on the hot seat. Lou Holtz, I think, his greatest coaching job to get these players to believe they could beat a team.
Harris with a nice gain. Jonesy? I think you do it. And padding those stats as we speak as well.
Job of running to the football trip set. He's been rotating coverage, and they've been doing exactly what he thought.
Ollie delivers a strike at the 40-yard line, about 2 yards short of the first.
Jenkins going for the home run. Incomplete. Belisari, all kinds of time, going deep. Complete. Casio, touchdown, Buckeyes.
Finding the old end zone, that easy. Quarterback Rashard Casey had problems early, but boy, what a day he had. 5 touchdown passes. You know, that ties a school record at Penn State. That one to Tony Stewart. Joe Paterno says that's how we do it.
Tony Stewart,
Tony Stewart, the final today. Look at these numbers, 67-7. Big game of the day. Number 1 Nebraska for the first time since 47. Visiting Notre Dame. Irish down 7. But here comes Joey Getherall. Hello, Joey. Listen to the call on this one. 83 yards. This game's going to be tied. Goes to overtime, but Nebraska's Eric Crouch runs it in. Yes, that's a touchdown. Little late call, but it is in Nebraska. Spoils the day for the Irish, but they were so good today, 27-24. What a great game that was. Also today, my kickoff going to who else? Brian Westbrook, 93 yards on the opening kickoff today. Total yardage for him. 304. This one's going to be a 73-yarder, not going to be a touchdown, but a marvelous play here from the end zone, and there he goes that way. Pro scouts are looking at that guy today. He had 4 touchdowns. He's the Wildcats' all-time leading scorer. They win it easily, 51-14. Also, LaSalle hosting Duquesne, and the Dukes here block the punt. Oh boy, trouble right there as Joe Pavlik, number 13. Scores for the visitors. That easy. The final from LaSalle today was Duquesne 30.
On a very warm, humid night here in Newark. Game time temperature at 81. The wind very little to speak of.
Citadel people in his face, but
1,000. James Ed O'Neill has the first down and then some as he plunges deeper into Bulldog.
Longest winning streak in the nation at 14 in a row after taking Georgia Tech 26-21. Chris Wenke completed 25 of 38 passes for 324 yards. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish showed a lot of fight, but lost at home to top-ranked Nebraska 27-24. Eric Crouch ran for a pair of touchdowns, including a 62-yard score. 9th-ranked Georgia was stunned by South Carolina 21-10. Derek Watson scored 3 rushing touchdowns. The Gamecocks snap an 18-game SEC losing streak. 15th-ranked Washington surprised Miami 34-29. Jeremy Stevens grabbed a career-high 7 balls and scored on a 23-yard touchdown pass. 5th-ranked Wisconsin used a 292-touchdown rushing performance from Michael Bennett and outscoring Oregon 27-23. Shamar Fletcher intercepted 3 passes for the Badgers.